Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Making 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 28 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Josh and Seal inside of him and enjoy that guys. And I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Hope of the Uchiha clan, so go ahead and check that out over at NidaimeNaruto. If you're new and you heard that correctly, yes, you're not mistaken, you did hear that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, NidaimeNaruto, NidaimeNaruto 2, and NidaimeNaruto 3, which I post what I fun every single night for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the NidaimeNaruto family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode start, the intro. So the last time we left off, as Naruto faced off against Kisame, without chakra and Naruto the Thunder God Blade, as Naruto was holding his own and actually hurting Kisame badly. Yujito came there, she told Kisame it was time to go, and that is exactly what they did, as they created distraction so that he could flee. As Naruto made his way, Itachi was currently on the roof as he was talking to my guy, as Itachi was blind after using the eyes, as he told Guy that he can stop Orochimaru, as he's currently making his way out of the village, and he's weakened as Guy shot after Orochimaru to end his existence before he could leave. As Itachi dropped down, blood all over him, but it wasn't his own as Yujito arrived. As she had a pained voice as she spoke to him, realized that he wasn't as safe to move as he told her to run. Without chakra she couldn't carry him, and they couldn't flee. As he told her to go, she told him that she will avenge him. When she was gone, Naruto arrived, as Naruto removed Itachi's eyes and implanted a new set of Sharingan in them, as Itachi was able to see clearly. It turns out that Itachi was on Naruto's side the entire time. Strangely enough, as Itachi was the one that killed Minato, but no one knew, as people knew that Minato had fallen. And despite his fatigue, Naruto still was going to carry on as he made his way. He was able to get the support of the other clan members that were there. Things were set up perfectly, a bit too perfectly, as Shikaku noticed that. As with them here, and no other option with Minato and Hiruzen dead, they had to select Naruto as the Hokage. And with that, he was able to drive back all of the forces from the Hidden Stone, as a large number of them came here and a small number of them flee for their life. As many explosions happened, many things, many chaos all around, but the war had came to an end. Itachi vanished, as the people in light did not see him, as Naruto was elected Hokage as he went towards where the council meeting was being kept, as all of them were there. The Hokage was dead. They did not know how he died or what happened, but the Hokage was dead. As Naruto got the votes, and he was elected the 5th Hokage of Konoha, because he was the one that drove them all back, and now he was the one that was going to get the revenge on the Hidden Stone. As Akimichi, Choza was pissed off, as Choji had died, and the man was giving Naruto his full support as long as he get revenge on Stone. So with that, Naruto was elected Hokage. Tobirama was currently with Kimimaro, as Orochimaru told him to watch him, as Orochimaru was the one that took Tobirama, as he was lying to everyone, saying that he didn't have the boy. Karen was able to do something smart as she resummoned herself and Yumi towards where all of the chameleons was. As Naruto was so happy to hear that they were there, although he couldn't find his son, as his mind was plagued with so much thought as he reunited with his 2 daughters. As the Senju compound had changed, as there was so many Hyugas there, Naruto was even woken up to breakfast. It was strange, as they were so grateful as he didn't treat them like the main branches at all. After that, Naruto went towards the tent where the hospital were. Tsunade was trying to heal Kushina, but Naruto stopped the woman, as if she had continued on that way she would have died, as he told the envoys to bring her towards the cell after what she did. As Naruto held on to Katsumi who was crying, as he used her chakra, as he funded through himself, and used the heal cushion to stop her major wounds. She would survive. He didn't do it for her, he just did it for Katsumi. As Katsumi did no wrong, and she didn't deserve to go through this. She already lost her father. She needed someone to her side as well. Although, Naruto still looked towards her as little sister, so he wasn't that hard on her. As he told her to go towards the Senju compound to get some rest, as Naruto spent a couple more hours in the tent, healing as many people as he could. As the people were grateful to him, including the medics. As he stepped outside, there was Uncle. As she was walking with her crutch, as she got wounded badly in one of her legs, as she saw him, the Hokage's robe, for the first time. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. So, you're Hokage now, huh? Uncle said, her light brown eyes looking at him, with a mixture of sadness and guilt. I'm glad you're alive. Even though he said those words, she saw his eyes, and she saw nothing in them, as he looked at her. Save me the kind words, she said, as she cut him off. I went to the compound first. Karen was told everything by your mother, and Yume isn't even my own daughter to begin with, she said. I know, yet she's my daughter as much as she is yours, said Naruto. Let me have a look at your leg. Konoha is in dire need of every able man and woman. Suit yourself, I wouldn't waste time on someone like me, Hokage-sama, she said as she sat down. What do you mean by that, Midarashi? Said Naruto. As she felt like he had grabbed her heart and twisted it. Hearing him call her that, ouch, that hurt. She was glad that he removed the splint on her leg, as she was glad that she said that at the right time. But it wasn't because of the pain, it was because of what he said. He used her old surname instead of her married one. I mean it, she said. You shouldn't waste time healing me, of all people. Pain was something she would gladly suffer for toying with his heart, because it was the only way that she saw that she could atone for her sins. Be still, you're a Jonin, not an academy graduate. It's a compound fracture. You shouldn't have been walking on it, said Naruto. They needed a bed, and I didn't have my intestines flying out, she said. You jumped out of the window and landed badly, said Naruto. No, I got ambushed by a couple of stone ninjas with earth jutsus. The ambassador thought they had me, but I carved him a new hole with my kunai, she said, as she tried to put on a cheery expression. You were lucky that you got out of the hospital before it was pulverized, said Naruto. I was out 5 minutes after you left. I planned on leaving, you know. Get the S-rank mission money from the bank. Spend it on booze and drink myself to death. Maybe when sober, look for Tobirama and things like that. Or wait for some root member to come to me. Then I remember, I hadn't even cashed the money. And when I returned, there was chaos everywhere. I was so scared I thought something happened to you. I realized I was just running away from reality. He didn't say a single word as he worked on her leg. I know, I can't be forgiven easily, she said. Maybe, even never. I will probably spend the rest of my nights jumping from bar to bar, she said, at this rate. But I hope, maybe, in a couple of years or decades, for another chance, she asked. As he looked up at her before looking back down. I gave you one, said Naruto, that night, when I told you I remember everything, and you already blew it, he said. Oh, got it, she said, as her head dropped down to look at her hands, more specifically, the one with the ring. Should I, give this back? Katsumi don't need to know that her father was a bastard who toyed with people's life. She has been through a lot, said Naruto. We will have a fallout of our marriage in the next couple of months. Stress on both our parts. I expect you to play along, he said. Konoha come first, right? She said, in a whisper. No, he said. My family does. I would have forgiven you, uncle. Trust me, I would have. I would have understood. I would have been angry, no, pissed. But I would have understood your reasons. Yet you chose your own demise when you decide to go and have him do it again, I remember. And probably because of you I will never, ever love anyone again. So it is fair that I never forgive you, he said. His hand stopped glowing green as he got to his feet. I should report to the mission assignment next, Hokage-sama, she said. You should, Midarashi-san, you should, he said. Timeskip and the prisons. Ibiki was basically glowing in the dim light of the prison corridor. So we got everything right now. Asanin, Kira shinobis, Stone shinobis, Science shinobis, Root members, a Katsuki. We even have 2 of the Kazekage children and some Kumo Jonins as well. They're like the icing of the cake. So cute and young, easy to squirm. I heard that, a voice said. I expected that much at Ibiki. It helps in making them nervous. Good, he said in a higher tone. I wonder if sand and glass bits in the finger or eyelids would do the trick, he said. What? A voice said, as Ibiki laughed. So who first, as he turned towards Naruto, who was standing there the entire time? The Akatsuki, said Naruto. As Ibiki walked, as he opened the cell door, the chakra suppression seal was on the wall. Fourth then, as the boy was trapped inside. Gaara. The Genju looked at the Ichibai. He didn't say a word at all, and we can't exactly go into his mind. The Shikaku would probably eat Inoichi. As Naruto stepped inside, his chakra was suppressed. As he locked the doors, he gazed towards Gaara. Are you gonna talk? Gaara remained silent. Don't eat your words, mind you, said Naruto, in a joking tone. I'm not going to torture you, said Naruto, but I do need answers. As he looked towards Gaara, with a rather stern, serious gaze. Blood, said Gaara, as he looked at the robe that Naruto was wearing. Where did it come from, said Naruto. From the wounded, as Naruto's tone got chilly. From the deceased, crushed people under the rubbles of Konoha buildings. I was in the medic tent, healing the people that you and your organization harm. For an organization that seeks peace, you surely have a bloody way of proving it. I'm sorry. Sorry won't cut it, said Naruto. Do you know how many good men and women we lost? How many innocent children, childs in the hospital wing? Do you know how many people out there are mourning their family, their loved ones that they lost? Obviously, you did not think about this because if you had thought, you probably wouldn't attack. And you wouldn't be here to begin with. We didn't know about the stone, Gaara said. We planned for the sand to go through the less civilized areas. We didn't want anyone to get hurt. You know, your brother's in a nearby cell, said Naruto. You know he considered you as nothing but a monster. And I went out of my way to defend you, said Naruto, as he shook his head. Monsters are not born, they're made. I never knew if you were one or not in the past, but now I can confirm it, said Naruto. No, said Gaara, I'm not a monster. I helped the wounded near the hospital. I protected them against the stone ninjas. You are, said Naruto, the moment you let innocents be harmed. You, my friend, you are a monster, said Naruto. From the moment you chose a life over another to watch an innocent die, causing chaos and pointless destruction, you become a shinobi, a monster, assassin, a killer. But you can determine how wicked you are. But you are nothing but a cold-blooded murderer, said Naruto. I am not, said Gaara, as his voice was quivering. Tears were in his eyes. I'm not a monster, he said. I'm not a demon, I'm Gaara. I didn't want anyone to get hurt, but Nagato said it was necessary. He said I didn't have to kill anyone, I just have to take the child, and Gaara closed his mouth, not saying anything else. So the children kidnapping was Akatsuki work? Well, I'll give it to Asuma. I guess he was not just being paranoid. How many times does Konoha steal the future of their own children, said Gaara? How many times does shinobis from nations young age are feed nothing but lies and deceit for them to go into a meaningless war and return back with blood on their hands, their friends dead, mourning chaos? That is what we came to do, to take your future, so that we could save it from harm. Our future, huh, said Naruto. You know, I have the same thoughts. The young are the future of Konoha, but yet, you didn't just take it away. You chose to kidnap it. As Naruto looked at Gaara with pity, and you actually believe that you're in the right here. What are you going to do with me, Gaara asked, as he closed his eyes. Letting you go, said Naruto, as Ibuki's eyes widened. Hokage-sama, are you serious? Yes, because if we don't, they will send someone to get him back. And I'd rather not fight another war on our home turf, in the condition that we're in right now. But I expect you to deliver back the future of Konoha, Gaara. Why? Why do you think I would do that, Gaara asked. Because I do not deal with lies, said Naruto. You claim that you're working for peace. In doing so, free the children. Let them come back home to their parents, their family that they have remained. Because if you don't, I will do everything in my power to crush the Akatsuki. When I do come for you, and I will burn it down to the last man. But return back the children. Prove to me that you truly want peace. Prove to me that you people can have some remorse and let those children return back to their family, who is mourning for them, hoping to see their babies once again. Gaara looked down. I'm just one. I can try, but what if I don't manage? I doubt that they can transfer kids easily. You know who were assigned to them, and where they're headed. Ibiki, free him and send him on his way. No need to have Konoha shinobis following him, said Naruto, as he turned to leave. Why? I'm a criminal, a monster. You call me one yourself. As Naruto stopped. Before, people called me a monster as well. But all I needed was one chance to prove that I was not. I kept on showing the world I was not one, and in the end, the world bowed to my will. You are a monster, but that doesn't mean the future would keep you as one. Nothing can ever be set in stone, Gaara. Peace, war, they always come because peace will never last, and war will never last. As Naruto signaled to Ibiki went through hand sign, and Gaara fell asleep in the cell. Keep the chakra bindings on him, said Naruto. Shikaku will wake up when the host is sleeping. Drop him off at the south of Konoha. Do not follow but look at the direction that he heads to. That should give us the direction of the Akatsuki, as Ibiki's come and summon a small chameleon. And this guy here will give us the location of the kids. Hokage-sama, the boy spoke of a certain Nagato. I think Jiraiya-sama should be called back. We can definitely use for some intel right now. That is no longer possible, said Naruto. As Naruto made his way towards the Kumo Jennings, of all the three, only the girl stood in the corner unbound. The other two had their arms and legs shackled. They seemed really scared. All in all, even he would have been scared to be captured after an invasion. Hokage-sama, we did nothing, the Kunoichi said. Our sensei was actually the one that did everything without us knowing. She told us that she worked for the Akatsuki. And your sensei is, Naruto asked. As Hiyori took a breath, as Mogura was the one that spoke. What will happen to us? If you're innocent, I will let you go, said Naruto. I'm not going to strain Konoha relationship with Kumo. But before that, know that it is unlikely for you to gain anything bargaining on your sensei's name. I just need to get the papers for the team that join up in the Chunin exams. It won't take me so long, but I have a lot of things to do. So the sooner you tell me everything, the sooner you'll be let go. Hiyori nodded. It all began in the second test. Sensei told us that the Raikage gave us an A-rank mission to let Namikaze team find our scroll, so we left it here for them. As the boy that had his feet shackled growled towards her. Why don't you just tell him Kumo patrol routes while you're at it, Shinkansen said, as he spat towards her direction, only for the glob of saliva to be frozen in mid-air and slam right into his forehead, as it just took a flick of Naruto's finger to do that. To think that Konoha valued teamwork above all. Anyway, was there any reason behind that, said Naruto. Yujito said that the Raikage want to have intel on the Namikaze abilities, as the girl Hiyori looked saddened by the way her teammate had treated her. But when the day finally came for the final sensei, she started to act strange. She came back to the inn in a hurry and said that we had to leave quickly. By the time that we were halfway through the village, ready to leave the gates, they were closed. Closed? Naruto thought to himself. Why would they be closed? But he kept his face calm as he looked at her, waiting for her to finish. Sensei then knocked out a guard. She told us that she worked with the Akatsuki and that we should forget about her. And she left us there, and we were captured. As Naruto turned towards Ibiki, have someone query why the gates were closed. If their version holds up, release them once the Kumo ambassador comes. And make them explain why the Nibijin Julki decide that it will be fun to try and escape before the invasion happened. Like she already knew that there was going to be an invasion. The three Genins wins at that. Could their sensei have already known? Hokage-sama, with respect, you're no fun. If you're gonna give my prisoners hope that they will be released. As Naruto rolled his eyes as he moved towards a stone Kunoichi who seemed scared out of her mind, especially when she saw Naruto's clothing stained with blood. Blood-stained Hokage, she said. I'm going to die, right? Blood-stained Hokage? Damn. And here I was hoping for something cooler, like the Soul Reaper, destroyer of armies, breaker of siege. Well, you did call the fourth Yellow Flash, and that can be referred to night problems. Well, I think that the Hidden Stone doesn't have that much imagination. She snapped at him. I will not yield. Konoha scum. We had our revenge. With the blood of your fallen, we destroy all that you held dear. How does it feel? The Yellow Flash is dead. Konoha, strength is broken and bam, something smashed into her gut, making her scream in pain as she buckled over and puked, but she still screamed. Tears start to fall down her face as she cried even more. A second later, Naruto snapped his finger and the pain was all gone. The Kunoichi, even for all of her training, she even went and soiled herself, as her eyes were red. Her body was racking in uncontrollable pain. Despite it being gone, the sensation. Fuinjutsu, pain, said Naruto, as she looked towards her stomach where the ink symbol was. So that is what ate her in the stomach. My water master carried over the ink, so I sent it right towards your stomach, said Naruto. You can probably already guess from the name and what it did to you. Now, Ibiki, I'm sure that she will talk about the inner problems of the hidden stone. As the girl was still on the ground trembling. Now, time to move on to Konoha problems. As he moved towards where Sai was. In the cell. Root affiliate 0142 42. Codename Sai. What was your objective? I serve Konoha, Sai said smoothly. As a Hokage, I represent Konoha. You were in the same team as my daughter, Sai. Don't force me to take actions that you will regret. I serve Konoha, Sai said, with that fake smile on his face. Danzo is dead, Sai. You serve the Hokage now, said Naruto. Hokage-sama. I serve only Danzo-sama, said Sai. I pity then, Ibiki, you know what to do. Ibiki thought that he was about to do the same thing with that Kunoichi back there. Well, torture was a longer way of suffering. As Naruto made his way, Conqueror of the Sun. As Conqueror's hands were tied together, so were his fingers as he could not move. I'm without my puppets. What's your need for this, he says. He looked towards his hands. One can never be sure, said Naruto. Yeah, anyway, it's not like I'm gonna talk, said Conqueror, as he looked towards Naruto, who only chuckled lightly. What's so funny? You know your father, the Kazekage, was killed by Orochimaru, right? Conqueror's eyes went wide with shock, as he did not say a single word. He was too shocked to speak. Wait, but that's impossible, he screamed. It appears that he was done in the Kazekage's skin. You are here as a political hostage until the situation solved itself. But considering how badly the Sand acted in no regards, it's possible that you will have to learn how to live within Konoha. A puppeteer brigade wouldn't be so bad. We actually have the wood to build puppets here. Aren't you too young to play Hokage? Conqueror snorted back, as he was pissed off at the lack of respect towards his home village. Aren't you too young to think I won't have you tortured for everything that you're worth? Hey, no need to be so serious, said Conqueror. I'll cooperate. Oh, that was quick. Ibiki, no need for the bull, said Naruto. Wait, a bull? I'll talk, he said. As Naruto simply eyed smiled as he walked off. As Naruto walked towards the next cell, Tsunade was wrapped in chakra sealing bandages all over her body, as she was showing her real age. Mother, said Naruto in a whisper, I know you're faking. You must have your reason for doing this, but you went behind my back and that I cannot forgive. Shut it, Brad, she said. It was to keep them safe. You should have told me nonetheless. I don't know if they told you but the third and the fourth died, said Naruto. I suspected Minato's death, but not Hiruzen Sensei, she said. You misunderstand, Minato Namikaze was killed. Really killed, said Naruto. He did not fake his death. Tsunade's eyes widened in shock. And this just confirms, said Naruto, the faction that you belong to. You, Hiruzen, Orochimaru, and who else? So easy, said Naruto, to take my trust and smash it down. He laughed, but there was no humor in his tone. I don't even want to know the reason why you did this. And I don't care. And the only reason why you're not dead is because you're needed for Konoha rebirth. Get some rest. You'll need it. Naruto, but he already walked off. He had so much to do, but first came the funeral. He passed by the carousel, but he did not stop, except for Minjutsu, held in a jar, with 2 blood seals on it. The Genins were all trapped. They wouldn't talk, and there was no need for torture, as he could salvage all of this by blaming all on Minato. Time skip. The funeral. Rain always seemed to fall when bad occasions occur. At the moment rain was pouring down, the funeral was keeping the great man and woman. People cried, and then a stranger thing happened. The sun emerged. The rain stopped. The day was beautiful once again. The crickets chirped. The animals moved around. A small breeze blew through the area as Naruto stood there in a clean set of robes, with Itachi to his right, as the rain was no longer falling, as the place was calm, cool. There had been murmurs about the Uchiha Project and his return. There had been accusations and words of mind control on their Hokage, yet there has also been proof Inoue had been sent to watch the selected few members that completely released Itachi from all charges, together with Naruto to ensure Nothing else was out of place. Following that, the council had accepted and reinstated Itachi Uchiha as a Jonin of Konoha and the right-hand man of the Hokage, and the removal of all bounties on his head. So while some people murmured why he was there, others talk about, well, the reasons they come up with, which is rather ludicrous and crazy. Some of them went dark. The Hokage and Danzo had keep the power for themselves. They slaughter the innocent clan to harness the ice. They kidnap and held prisoner Uchiha woman, and they also kidnap Naruto Senju's son, and they place him under experiments that no one would have thought possible. By showing this, the people found out that Kira was never involved, and Itachi had nothing to do with anything. It was Minato and Danzo. But the Kira ninjas were seen fighting near the third. So, at the moment the village hid in the mist was at a standstill with Konoha. Well, at least until the Mizukage came with a solution that would benefit them both. Yet, as the funeral went on, it was a surprise that the limping Kushin and Namikaze reached for the front rows. She wasn't wearing black, she was wearing her normal uniform that she was wearing in the medic tent. You killed him, as she pointed towards Itachi. It was within his right to do so, Namikaze-san said Naruto. Mentally, Naruto was thankful that Katsumi was currently at the Senju compound to sleep. He had to thank Neji once again. He killed the Hokage and he's here scot-free. What law is this? What justice, she said, as she coughed. As she held onto her stomach as blood started to seep on her hands, her bandages started to get red. As Naruto stepped forward, "Do not force my hand," he said. "You lost a husband, and for that I can understand your pain. But such actions right now." As he gave her a stern look. "If you have not noticed, we're currently at a war. And if we fight amongst ourselves, what do you think will happen, huh? If you want to blame someone, blame the clan laws that you agreed with all those years ago, if you did not." She calmed herself down as she walked away. What was she expecting? For the people to fight off Naruto? Minato always tell her to think before she act. But yet, why did he have to go and die? Why did he have to die? Why couldn't he do something smart like dodge, flash away or something? Why couldn't he have escaped? Worse, Itachi received a full pardon from her son. And he was now a free man, scot-free. Her son had forgiven his father murderer. He accepted as a natural thing that had to be done. As Naruto eyed him twitch in annoyance and anger, as he flicked his right hand, the few envoys that were there in the shadows vanished. It seems that nothing happened, but when the main host family returned to Hyuga, they would realize that their numbers had been severed. After all, trying to have your revenge at a funeral, Naruto would not let that slide. The gouged eyes and the severed head would make it clear. But as Naruto looked towards the memorial stone that had to be double in size, because there were so many more names that were placed on it, the first to come was Shikamaru, followed by Shino. The first one to speak was Inara. "What about the exam results, Sensei?" asked Shikamaru. As Naruto understood the boy's real intentions, he wanted to know if he was going to go on the battlefield as a captain or a mere soldier. "You and the rest of the rookies will not participate in a battle on the front line," said Naruto. "You are still too young for that, Shikamaru. And don't you dare open your mouth to retort," said Naruto. As Shikamaru closed his mouth, it would be too troublesome to get on the Hokage bad side, when lately it showed that he had a rather short fuse. "You will go to battle," said Naruto, "and you will have blood in your hands, but not until I'm sure you and your team can get the job done. Expect no more D ranks, so you better not slack off now. I spoke with Asuma already, and your replacement shall be done once I tackle the paperwork. No one can replace Choji," said Shikamaru. "I know, Shikamaru, I know. However, if the kid I remember fondly, the one who snuck me snacks in the hospital when I wasn't there, he wouldn't want us to mope. He'd want us to continue with our life, and probably get some food. Maybe at the barbecue shack. He was a really big fan of that place," said Naruto. "Well, if you can eat as much food as your body weight, you can leave without pain," said Shino, as his voice sounded saddened. As they gave their Hokage a nod before walking off, a man that Naruto never seen before walked towards him. "I believe there's a story behind the scene with the red head," the man said. "Oh, Kami, you didn't return," said Naruto. "This is so precious," as he looked at the man. "I'm a second away from doing it, actually. It is not fun going around Konoha while it is in ruins," the man said. "And I'm like this because Hotaru-sensei senses were tingling. That woman, she's what, 50 or more, and yet she can act like a teenager sometimes. I knew I should have nailed it with the librarian." "So you actually flirted with her?" She wasn't lying, said Naruto. Obviously, but you see, the history had to know me as a serious, cold-hearted person, not a flirter. And the man known as second Hokage would never make a joke, Tobirama said. I'm surprised. How did you get past Itachi Sharingan, said Naruto. This, Tobirama said, my dear clone of the future as he looked towards Naruto, is nothing but a solid transformation. It required the use of a shadow clone upon oneself, with a coding of chakra that not show the exact solid, and it can fool the Sharingan. I'll remember that, said Naruto. Might be useful in the future. Is there a chance I can convince you to do the paperwork? I am a construct made of dirt and earth, and I've been given unlimited chakra by a crazy jutsu. I could go for world domination. Why the hell should I do paperwork, said Tobirama. You didn't like paperwork. I'm shocked, said Naruto. Still, you can't help Konoha out in the war. Kid, I did my part when I was alive. I fought, killed, destroyed, drowned. I didn't earn the fame of the Edo Tensei creator with a body that regenerates the entire time. The only thing that can stop it is if the user releases a jutsu, or with the actual release of the soul. Kinda poetic, but those two are the only ways. So the true purpose of the Edo Tensei was to have highly powerful soldiers use deadly techniques in the middle of enemy army. I never perfected it. I wasn't able to. Anyway, I gave enough blood to Konoha, and I'm already dead. It's time that everyone just accept that. Everyone will die one day, and my time has come and passed. You're making a line behind you, said Naruto, as people want to talk to him. Is there anything else you want to ask, Naruto said. Oh yes. If you're going to fight the Hidden Stone, there's something I must tell you about Mew's technique and their origin. With interest in his eyes, Naruto listened. As this man was kind of like his sensei, well, he trained in his words, his written words, but now seeing the man right here fully and actually talking to him, well, it was kind of a small dream come true. First off, whoever the Tishikage is, never ever go to fight without a water source. Hidden seals or wherever you want, or bring water. Even I had a satchel. And the reason is simple, Jinken. His dust release technique is an ability that detach things from reality through a complex use of earth, wind, and fire. But water nullifies his attack because it defeats fire and go head to head with wind. But earth would beat out the water, but it won't pulverize you into nothingness. But it will still hurt like hell. So keep water on you to shield yourself. Couldn't I just... As Tobirama cut him off, shouldn't I just substitute? Or get water from outside? That is what you were about to say, right? As Naruto nodded. First thing first, it creates a spear. A cylindrical spear around you. Then once it is done, the technique in those boundaries, it happened immediately. No second charge, no yelling, no nothing, it goes off. So in time it takes to set up the boundaries around you. Use water to pass through it. Nothing else would work, understood? You know, you just could go fight the Tishikage, said Naruto. And what would you learn? Remember, I'm dead. I'm just a voice in the back of your head, giving you a few tips here and there. I was lucky this suppression of chakra did not outright destroy the seals on this body. Once chakra came back, this body woke up. Well, I'm not planning on staying any longer, but given the fact that Hoshirama is gonna probably kill me when I return to the other side, I guess I probably should. Why would he, said Naruto. Well, you see, Hoshirama had raven hair. Dark, right? And Mito had red. I had grey. And Tsunade Senju now has blonde. Like a certain Nawaki. Here to take a guess. As Naruto narrowed his eyes. You didn't, he said. In my defense, I did not know until 2 hours ago, when I went to the Senju compound to have a look at the photos. Probably I was dead drunk and she was lonely. Mito never told me. I'm just that good at forgetting important stuff, you know? So, does that mean you're my great something, said Naruto. Well, given the fact if you had entered through the ceiling matrix to go to my secret laboratory, and you did not turn into goo. So yeah, perhaps. I see, said Naruto. Well, stay well. I'll be going now. What? Said Naruto. What? I'm going over there behind that building to disappear. Do you want me to do it here and freak the people out? As the man made his way off, Naruto realized something. The man hadn't mentioned anything about the Raijin. Damn it. Just in his somewhat family to forget important stuff. As Naruto turned to leave, he saw Ayam waiting for him. He thought that she would never talk to him again. Or truthfully, he thought that she would blame him for everything that happened. But instead, she marched directly towards him. She stopped in front of him. My father. He would have been so proud of you. He told me before dying That as long as you stood to protect Konoha, the village will never fall. He didn't even mention the third or the fourth, he mentioned you. Said Naruto. She shook her head. You know, I was training to become stronger. Something like a cooking, Nin, she said. I would never beat you or your wife. But I become stronger. I can fend off for myself now. And I heard that the wave economy is kicking in. And a stall there, it will actually sell pretty well. Said Naruto as she shook her head once again. Let me finish. I had a crush on you, a really bad one. And it worsened with time, until it became love. Yet, you were taken, and I tried to appeal to you in a different way, but you were dissuaded. But now, I can tell you straight to your face. I love you, she said. And I'm gonna leave the village and head to the hidden wave and forget I ever confessed to you after a funeral. As she walked off, as Naruto stood there. If you don't, follow her. I'm gonna set you on flames with the Amaterasu and place you into my Tsukuyomi, and make you see unseeable torture, said Itachi, as Naruto was snapped out of his frozen state and moved towards Ayam before she could leave. Sasuke was shocked when he saw his brother smiling. After speaking to Naruto, he smiled happily. Meanwhile, with Hinata, she had been kept in house arrest when the tournament had started. Then, she was knocked out by her father of all people. When she woke up, she was gagged and bound. On her father's shoulder, being carried away from Konoha, to where she had no idea. She tried to free herself as she woke up, but her father simply pressed a pressure nerve on her as she fell asleep once again. When she woke up, they were camping in the woods. Hinata, and she said quietly, I understand your ire, but rest assured, in the other life, you will most definitely find peace. She screamed at him, but the gag in her mouth. Nothing was coming out. There is no one coming to look for us, Hinata. But by the time we cross the border, you will realize that you are useless even in the eyes of your sensei at the moment, and it will hurt you badly. But at least in death, you will serve a purpose of bringing back Hanabi. Had her father gone mad, Hanabi was dead. How would killing her bring her younger sister back? She had no idea what the hell was going on or what he was trying to do. And what the hell about the sound? What did it have to do with everything else? I see you do not understand. Very well, I shall indulge you about all the tales of Orochimaru-san offer me my younger daughter back, should I provide him with something that he needs. As Hayashi did not mention that the something that Orochimaru needed was his body. I was also skeptic, but he did bring back Jiraiya. And the second Hokage, I did not even know that Jiraiya was dead. You were always weak, child. You were your mother's favorite. Hanabi would have been the perfect leader for the Hyuga clan. Emotionless, controlled, and a real doll. Not like you, doing as you please, saying as you please. I never really even liked your sensei. He did well on bringing out Neji. I did so many things for him not following us, handing over the branch family, everything. Hinata was shocked by those words. No, it couldn't be. Her sensei would not. No, he wouldn't. I gave him the cage bird seal, but he wanted something more to guarantee that he stood within the law. So I signed him a document granting him clanless status to the branch family and letting him adopt them all. He was eager to accept. Tears started to run down Hinata's eyes. As she shook her head, it wasn't possible. Her sensei wouldn't do that. Her father had to be lying, he had to. Anyway, you should just lie down and sleep. There's a long way to go, Hinata. Time skip. Days later, with Orochimaru. Hidamaru, his body was weak, disgusted, horrendous. It had spider, where no other people would keep spiders on them. But it was that or one of the others. Tell you why I could not cut it. She had little to no physical skills, only genjutsu. Drobo was strong physically, but he did not have the agility that he needed. Seikon and Ukon were one, even though the both of them were loyal. Using one of them, well, he couldn't have that, escaping Konoha. Now he faced Hayashi, who had come to request his services, just like he had promised. Yet he didn't have any use for him, he was already past his prime. The girl on the other hand, still 3 years before he can do his jutsu again. So what should he do? What to do? So his neck extended as he bit into Hayashi, as the man was caught off guard. And Hinata was much easier to bite into because she was gagged and tied. All in all, he will see which of the two will survive. That was going to be one big gamble. And if neither of them did, well, there was always a mutt boy back at Konoha. His eyes then went toward Kimimaro, who was standing aside, his posture had tense for a moment, but then relaxed. as Kimimaro had thought that he would die. He was Orochimaru, he was a being that was gonna surpass all when it comes to age. Kimimaro offered him his body, but his body was gonna be dead in a couple of years. And Orochimaru did not want that. He was gonna be immortal. He needed a body, a well-trained... I actually died. As the man could not handle the seal. He was a failure then. As he turned his eyes towards the girl. But she didn't stop breathing. "Give her to Kabuto, Kimimaro," said Orochimaru. "Orochimaru-sama, Kabuto-san has left a few hours before your return." Orochimaru hissed. "Did he bring Tobirama with him?" "As you instructed, Orochimaru-sama, the boy was to be kept under his tutelage." Orochimaru burst out in laughter. "It seems I was stabbed in the back." "Well, it is always the quiet ones," he said. Time skip. "So, Tishikage, I am sure that this will sweeten the deal," said Kabuto. As Kabuto's hands were on Tobirama's shoulder, as Tobirama's eyes were showing green and blue eyes. Left one green, right one blue. The boy was looking around in wonder, as getting used to the sight was amazing. Oniki smiled. He could use the boy, or if things were extremely worse, he could offer him up for peace to the Hokage. Even better, he could make it an exchange hostage. That was if his granddaughter was still alive. She did not return, so he thought that she was captured by the Konoha ninjas. As Oniki hoped that she did not reveal herself, but if she did not, she would die. They would think that she was just a commoner. As he was in a sticky situation, he would take some samples from this boy to recreate the bloodline, and then he would exchange him for the rest of his people. Indeed it does, Yakushi-san. Welcome to the Hidden Stone, or should I say, welcome back. It's an honor to serve Tishikage-sama, said Kabuto. At Konoha. So, she's a Tishikage granddaughter, said Naruto, as he pointed towards Kurosaki, who was rocking back and forth in the corner. Why is she like that? I think it has to do with your presence, Hokage-sama. Well, she did request that you were here. Although you did do a number on her the last time. Oh yes, said Naruto. So, did she open up after that? As the man nodded, there was no longer any need for chains. She had begged, she had pleaded not to be brought out of the cell, because the bars protected her from him. So, Kurosaki, what is it you want to talk to me about? Please, let me go, she begged. I'm worth a lot. Really, the old man would certainly want me back, please, she said. Oh yes, why not, said Naruto. Her eyes widened in shock. And while I'm at it, can you resurrect all the people that you killed, Naruto asked. You hit the hospital. Do you know the casualties of the following days? Not to mention the infections. You hit the orphanage. Do you know how many kids had to sleep in the street amongst the rubble? Yeah, you're not leaving. And I will make sure that you break. I will have your soul torn to shreds and tatters and flung around. And by the time the torture team is done with you, there will be nothing left, nothing at all, that will define you as a human. As he left, a minute later, hello there, honey. My ex-husband just left, without even saying a hello to me. So right now I'm royally pissed. Oh, name is Uncle Miyarashi. Wanna play a bit? Time skip. Senju compound. A girl stood outside the compound gates with a white dress with blue lilies sewn upon them, as she was holding both of her hands together as she was quietly waiting. Meanwhile, Karen was pacing in the room. Yumi-chan, as a small 3-year-old girl, was currently in the corner coloring. Dad wouldn't fall for another witch, would he? Ayom-san is pretty, said Yumi. Yeah, she is, but he's not good enough. Ayam, said Karen. She isn't. But mom, she makes ramen, said Yumi. I make ramen too, said Karen. Yours is yucky. Mine is perfect. It's soggy. You're just too young. It's an acquired taste. Ever since she magic calmed on Yumi and told her to call her mom, as the girl had just stuck with it. Urine is yucky, spongy, and usually it's burning. They say the heart of a man is conquered through the stomach. Alright then, I'll show you and him that I can cook the best ramen. Oh, that sounds like a challenge. As Naruto entered the room, Ayami is downstairs. She's gonna cook with Junko. Be a nice host and round up the entire compound. We're gonna be holding a party, said Naruto. Yes, father, said Karen, as she was blushing hard, hoping her father hadn't heard the beginning of the conversation. Dad, as Yumi rushed forward and jumped on him, as Naruto held on to her. She didn't want to be away from her father anymore, since the last time she was taken away. As Naruto made his way downstairs, so, we have enough for 800. I am sorry. If the kitchen and the cooks work at our rhythm, then maybe it will be enough for a second, she said. Normally, I say it wouldn't be enough, but the Akimichis are still mourning Choji, and they kind of look towards food as comfort, said Naruto. Konoha was now clean, and it was rebuilt rather quickly, seeing a couple of days had passed as people got to work. Celebrating a festival right now would be a waste of money, especially in their situation, so giving people a day off and celebrating the occasion was the best thing to do, as Naruto stood at the head of the table, with the Uchihas on one side, the other clans all gathered around, as this was the start of a new day, a new Konoha. A Konoha that is being led by a man that has been through a lot: deceits, lies, trickery, hell and back. And now he was here standing proudly as their Hokage. As Naruto smiled, the people were happy around him. It was like they weren't going to have a war very soon, because it did not matter at the moment. As he turned towards Ayam, I would like more ramen please, he said. While Naruto was having a wonderful time, someone was thinking darkly about him. Feast upon it and gorge until you choke and die, Senju, someone thought, as Naruto was given ramen. But who was it? Well, the person kept their thoughts to themselves as they were watching him. It was someone that was there, at the table, laughing and joking, but yet, they want him to die. Well, he had more enemies than one, but someone was within Konoha, watching him, planning for his death. But who was it? But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Josh and Seal inside of him. And enjoy that guys over on Anime King 3. And also I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Hope of the Uchiha clan. So go ahead and check that out on Anime King and enjoy that guys. If you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, yes, you heard all of that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So if you're new guys, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. All links will be down in the description for you guys to enjoy and check it out yourself guys. And click that red subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so you can see exactly when I post. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace out.